Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning here on the Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Isaiah, joined by, as always, Cristal. This time on the wonderful land of Zoom. Cristal, what's going on? How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. So we had a little weird yesterday, being remote and just working and having my class remotely just really kind of threw me off. And so I don't know, I'm experiencing some sort of PTSD because now I'm on Zoom again, and that's how I'm joining you guys. So it is what it is. It's just a little bit weird, but nonetheless, we're gonna have a great show. We are halfway through the week. So if you're having a weird week like myself, we're halfway there. So
It only
overall,
gets better, Crystal.
exactly. There
Yes,
you go. That's peak
sir.
energy. That is the
Yeah, guys,
energy.
we have a great show planned today. We're going to talk about very important things such as the research that just barreled through New Jersey and maybe even some of the best universities in the world. Me and Aiden had a quick conversation about this before the show, and a princess who chose love over the crown. Also, later on the show, we have a great interview with Dr. Amy Tuininga talking about, global warming and the current storms going on this year. But we have some business to take care of. And before we do that, actually, Aiden's here. He's going to be our newscaster as always. We have Tommy, our sportscaster, and Gina, our trends host, killing it, all three of them. Tommy, it's good to see you today.
I know.
With your
I was just
sportscast.
about to say
I
that.
know, Tommy, you're starting to make iconic appearances here on the show.
I know. What do we owe this honor?
I know, Tommy. Thank you. Aiden, you're the man of the hour first, though, because we have a newscast. We need to know what's going on in the world and all around. Tell us what's up, Aiden.
Awesome, thank you. In international news this morning, Wednesday marks the start of the 100-day countdown to Beijing's Winter Olympics, but not everyone is in the mood to celebrate. Officials are racing to suppress the widening outbreak of COVID-19. By international standards, the current outbreak would be considered small, but in China, even one case represents a challenge to this country's zero COVID approach. In America, the Charlottesville civil trial will explore where free speech becomes conspiracy to commit violence. The plaintiffs include several Charlottesville residents who say they were hurt in the events around the Unite their and the defendants are many of the brand names of white power. The defendants say they were engaging in their First Amendment right to protest and there was no conspiracy, and that the violence was the result of police failing to keep them separate from counter-protesters. In New Jersey, two officers from the Lower Township Police Department were accused of stealing bicycles in Cape May City. Video surveillance obtained by the Cape May Police Department showed two men removing bicycles from an area. The two men were later identified as Campbell and Craig, who were both employed as patrolmen. In Montclair, it will be cloudy today with highs of 60 degrees and a humidity of 61% with winds at 15 miles per hour. At 12:30 to 1:15 p.m. in the Student Rec Center, there was a midday group exercise event and an online information meeting from 1 to 2 for the FBI.
The FBI?
Yeah, I found that cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, weird.
They're coming for you, Isaiah.
I
Or I
know
should
they
say
finally caught
Aiden.
up. I will say, Crystal, I'm kind of sad you're here strictly for one reason. I had bought
Okay.
in a brand new pair of shoes, and then I was like, you know what? Crystal isn't even here to see them. So,
Oh
what a waste.
no.
Maybe I'll
What
show
a
them later on in the
shame.
show. That's a teaser,
Yes.
guys, for all you Facebook Live people or YouTube people. Isaiah's shoes is going to be displayed on camera. But enough about my shoes. Tommy, the sports world has been turned upside down. Things are happening in all leagues. Please tell us what's going on.
That's right. There's always everything happening in the sports world. So we'll kick it off. So we kick off the sportscast with Game 1 of the 2021 World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. Last night, the Braves defeated the Astros by a score of 6-2, taking a 1-0 lead in the series. Game 2 of the World Series is tonight in Houston at 8:09 p.m. Eastern Time. In the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has reported that the NFL is still determining if Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson will be placed on the exempt list. In addition, Houston Texans chairman and CEO Cal McNair had apologized yesterday following a report that he made an anti-Asian comment at a team charity golf tournament in May. In the NBA, the Knicks defeated the 76ers last night by a score of 112-99 as they are currently 3-1 to start the season. And the Nets are home tonight as they take on the Miami Heat for Barclays Center at 7:30 p.m. In the NHL, yesterday, Chicago Blackhawks president of hockey operations and general manager Stan Bowman resigned from his duties after an investigation commissioned by the team found that he was among a group of leaders who failed to respond promptly to allegations that an assistant coach sexually assaulted a player in 2010. The NHL has fined the Blackhawks $2 million following the investigation. In addition, Bowman stepped down as general manager of 2022 U.S. Olympics men's ice hockey team. A replacement has yet to be determined for the U.S. hockey team. As for the Blackhawks, assistant GM Kyle Davidson will serve as interim general manager. For NHL games, the Devils last night lost to the Calgary Flames by a score of 5-3. Flyers are on the road as they face the Edmonton Oilers tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. For Montclair Sports, both men and women's soccer teams will face Rutgers Newark tonight. Women's soccer are on the road as they play at 7:30 p.m. and the men's soccer are home as they play at 7 o'clock p.m. At Montclair Soccer Field. And that's all I have for now for sports.
Thank you, Tommy. It's great to have you back on the show, and we will also hear from you in hour 2 for more sports updates. But I have to say, before we go on to our first stories, I did not know Calgary had a hockey team. Makes sense, but also I didn't know they were called the Flames. So thank you for teaching me that information, Tommy. Very interesting. Do you know why they're called the Flames, or that's just a random name they chose?
Well, interesting fact, they were originally the Atlanta Flames in like the 70s to early 80s until relocated to Calgary.
Okay. Well, at least Atlanta's hot. Yeah, they should probably change the name as well. That's my opinion.
It's gonna stay the way it is.
Yeah. Anyways, other than hockey, we have some crazy things going on in the world as an FDA panel backs Pfizer's low-dose COVID-19 vaccine for children. A Food and Drug Administration advisory panel voted unanimously, with only one vote against it, that the vaccine's benefits in preventing COVID-19 in that age group outweighs any potential risks. That includes questions about heart-related side effects that have been rare in teens and young adults despite the use of a much higher vaccine dose. Despite children facing less severe symptoms from COVID-19, many panelists decided it is important to give parents the choice to protect their kids with the highest form of protection against COVID-19. Many kids still face high risk of illness who live in places where other precautions like masks and schools aren't being used. Dr. Amanda Cohn, who's a member of the panel, had this to say. This is an age group that deserves and should have the same opportunity to be vaccinated as every other age. Despite being an FDA panel, they do not represent the FDA as a whole. The FDA is expected to make its own decision within the next few days. Should the FDA agree with the panel, there's still another step that would need to happen. The CDC will then have to decide whether to recommend the shots and what age groups should be allowed to get them. That has been your COVID update with Isaiah. What are your guys' thoughts?
I feel like that's a pretty good thing, you know? I mean, kids don't need the shot for themselves, but herd immunity is going to be very important going forward for the people who can't get the vaccination. So I think the fact that we're trying to vaccinate the wider populace is a very, very good thing. And I'm glad they're still working towards it, even if they don't particularly need it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have that extra potential protection against COVID-19, no matter what age group, I guess. I think it's fair to have them with that opportunity. Cristal, have any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, no, I think it's good that they backed it up, for those who are comfortable getting the vaccine and having their kids to get the vaccine. But something that I've just kind of seen time after time, regardless of whether it's good news or bad news regarding COVID, someone's always going to oppose it, right? And I think this is just another thing that they are going to be like, well, it doesn't matter if they back it up. I'm still not giving it to my kids. So I don't know. I think when it comes to kids, yes, I think parents should choose because they're their kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But a lot of people were against getting the vaccine, and then
Wait, really?
and then it was like fully approved, and then there were still some who were like, okay, now this is my time to shine and get the actual vaccine, and then there was other people who were like, no, I'm still not getting it. So I feel like it's just going to be the same kind of thing, and especially since it's with kids, it's even more people try to tread more carefully. So
Without a
that makes
doubt.
sense. They're kids.
Crystal, that was very well put. But I feel like I need to hear more from you, and you're gonna have the next story for us.
Absolutely. So the nor'easter causes flooding across East Coast as bomb cyclone lashes the West Coast. The first nor'easter of the season has run through New Jersey and is affecting or has already affected millions of Americans with winds and flooding. Both New York and New Jersey governors did have to declare a state of emergency ahead of the storm. Parts of New Jersey were drenched by more than 5 inches of rain Tuesday morning, and state troopers there responded to nearly 200 accidents before 12 p.m. The storm did cause many flights to be canceled as well. And I believe that's kind of expected. Thousands of homes and businesses have lost power to make matters worse. The storm is expected to worsen as wind speeds are expected to hit up to 60 miles per hour, with isolated gusts along the Rhode Island and Massachusetts coast approaching hurricane force. New York's John F. Kennedy Airport recorded 2.05 inches of daily rainfall on Tuesday, setting a new record from the previous high of 1.34 inches of 2002. Connecticut's Sokorski Memorial Airport reported 1.87 inches of daily rainfall, breaking its previous record of 1.32 inches set in 1958. And lastly but not least, what's the saying? Last but not least, the Long Island MacArthur Airport saw 3.33 inches of rain in a single day, which topped its previous record of 1.50 inches set in 1981. And as someone who I absolutely love knowing everything that I can about a topic, and so hey, yesterday we heard a lot of like the nor'easter, and I personally, I'm not even gonna lie, I thought that was, and it might be, but I don't think so. I thought it was like the name of the storm or something, because you see how they pick like Storm Ida, Storm this, Storm that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the name of the storm. And so I started doing some Google. And apparently, according to the National Weather Service, a nor'easter is a storm along the east coast of North America, so called because the winds over the coastal area are typically from the northeast, which makes sense. These storms may occur at any time of the year, but are most frequent and most violent between September and April, which makes sense because we are towards the end of October, entering November. So I guess it was to be expected. But yeah, I was just very curious because I wanted to know what nor'easter was, and now you know too. So thank me later. I'm just kidding. Isaias, did you
Wow.
know what a nor'easter was?
Okay, so I didn't think it was the name of a storm. I knew it was a storm that had to do with the Northeast, because I feel like that's the main primary region of it. But I always thought nor'easters had to do with snow. So when I first heard it, I was like, are you
Ah,
kidding me? I will not
that
have anything to do with this snow. I'm out of here. Turns out
interesting.
not true. But
How
anytime
about
I
you,
feel
Aiden? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no. Aiden,
Oh,
go.
what? Oh, no, I was just gonna say, global warming, but yeah, that's about it. That's all I gotta say.
Aiden, did you know that a nor'easter? I mean, it does say it in the name, right? And like you can derive from it like context clues. But I actually thought it was like a name, but then I
Yeah,
figured
no,
it
I got hit.
wasn't.
I was living on a shoreside town for like all of when I grew up, so we got hit by nor'easters like every year, so I'm used to this.
Oh, you see, that is so cool. Different experiences, different people living different areas. That is a prime example. I live in Hudson County and it's very populated, buildings, businesses, cars. So I didn't even get flooded, thankfully. I will say I didn't get flooded this time around. So, but I know other people who did, right? So, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, I think it was a pretty cool fact to throw in there if you were like me and wasn't sure.
Hey,
So,
you know what, Crystal? We appreciate the big science facts delivered by you exclusively here on the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to go listen to maybe a song, an old throwback song that I'm sure my mother would appreciate. Guys, we'll be right back here on the Morning Buzz. Guys, welcome back here to the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. I am Isaiah, joined by, as always, Cristal, Aiden, and Gina. Tommy is somewhere in the void. He'll be back in hour two. Uh, Cristal, in case you couldn't hear it because you said it in the chat, that was Express Yourself by the one and only NWA. Very intense acronym that I cannot say on air, nor will I say in person. But I will say, have you guys seen the movie Straight Outta Compton at all before we go into our next stories?
No.
No? Oh my gosh, watch movies, guys. You guys don't watch anything. You don't watch
my
the
God, can we-
Avengers. What?
Oh yes, I forgot that conversation from last week. Can I just say how Isaias is such a very geeky person when it comes to movies and shows and entertainment. Like that is his vibe. And I don't
Geeky
share that vibe with
person.
him, but that's his vibe.
Wow. Yeah, that would describe me, I would feel. I enjoy movies.
It does, definitely.
Yeah. But seriously, watch it. It's such a good movie. It's not a documentary. I forget the actual terms for that kind of movie. Aiden, you're a film guy. What is a documentary, but it's acted out? Aiden, please.
Sorry. I was looking it up, but it's a mockumentary.
It's not a mockumentary because it's factual. So they're not like poking fun at it.
Oh, so it'd just be based off a true story, wouldn't it? Like in a
There's an actual thing. Aiden, you're supposed to know these things.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Aiden is like a
great movie.
sophomore.
I enjoyed it. It's about NWA and really more about Eazy and his rise and all that stuff. Anyways, that's enough of that because we have more important things to get to, such as, guys, we are all college students, and 7 New Jersey universities are among the best in the world, according to a new global ranking. Guys, I have a question for you before we get into it. Do you? I know some of you have looked at the script, but would you expect?
That's why I'm laughing.
Would you expect Montclair to make it?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot other colleges in New Jersey.
Mm.
So how could
What would you
Montclair
think
be
is
it?
better in New Jersey, at least, than Montclair?
I don't know. I'm not saying like these are better. I'm just like there's Seton Hall, there's William Patterson that I see that didn't make the list. So well, I'm just
Spoilers, Gina.
Right.
Come on. All right, guys, let's get into it. Harvard University obviously topped the 2022 best global universities list, which included 1,700 colleges and universities from over 90 countries. The ranking is based largely on schools' academic research and international reputation. Guys, in New Jersey, we had 7 of them, and I will go through them. Coming in at number 16, who would have thought? Princeton University. At number 130, Rutgers, New Brunswick. Number 600, Rutgers, Newark. New Jersey Institute of Technology at 813. Montclair State University at 1,167, followed by Stevens Institute of Technology at 1,202. And Rowan closes out our New Jersey representation on the list at 1607. And for those, that is 1,607. Last year, 6 New Jersey universities made the list, but Rowan dropped off the other year. And now they're back, guys. We're at 7 again. And in total, in case you need to know more context, the US has the most universities on the list with 271, and China comes in at second with 253 ranked universities, Japan with 93, the United Kingdom with 89, and Germany with 70. And now, just to give you even more details, we're going to give you some of the best colleges in each region. The University of Cape Town in South Africa is the, quote unquote the best university in Africa, followed by Tuininga University in China, which is for Asia, University of Melbourne in Australia, which is obviously Australia / New Zealand, the University of Oxford in Europe, and the Universidade de Sao Paulo in Brazil. Guys, that's exciting information. How does it feel to know that a school you attend has been ranked number 1,167 on a global scale of 1,700 colleges?
that's
That's
pretty
100%.
low.
No, but if you think
think-
about it, that's worldwide though, not even just in the United States. So
Okay, so for it being worldwide, I'd say it's good.
yeah, I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
that's where I expected
Yeah.
Montclair to be. That makes
Mhm.
sense. I wouldn't say we're Princeton, but we're pretty good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Crystal, do you disagree or agree?
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. So I think so. It was between 1,700 universities, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we ranked 1,167 out of 1,700. That is more over there than over here. And what I mean by that, that it's closer to the 1,700 than to number one. And it's not even halfway because if I'm doing my math correctly, it's probably like you would be like 850 to be halfway for the 1,700. And we are 1,167. I keep repeating the number. I'm going to say that for New Jersey, just New Jersey, I think Montclair State University offers one of the best educations for what they charge, if that makes sense. I'm not saying they charge a low price at
Best
all.
bang for your buck is what you're saying.
Yeah, but you're getting for students who cannot afford or who will not go in debt to go out of state or to go to like who can't get in or do not even want to go to like Princeton University, for example. Montclair is a good university. It is. I love my time here. I've loved my time here. I think you get a good education, a well-rounded education. But I think 1,167. I'm a little disappointed, but it makes sense. I think in my personal opinion, if there is something that Montclair State could improve on, I think would be just more of like the college vibe in terms of like college life. And I say that because Rutgers, New Brunswick is placed on number 130 from 1,700. I think that's pretty incredible. And we also have to kind of consider what they took into account when it comes to this ranking, because I don't know what they took into account. Maybe it was the education, maybe it was the price, maybe it was everything, maybe it was the college life, maybe it was just based on what students had to say. Regardless, I'm not disappointed Montclair is down there. I mean, I personally did my first 2 years at Rutgers Newark, and now I feel like I should stay there because Rutgers Newark, although it did not place the same as Rutgers New Brunswick, which placed
New
on
Brunswick all
130.
the way, Crystal. Rutgers Newark is terrible, trash. We don't even talk about the Rutgers colleges here. This is a Montclair State establishment, and we are gonna move on, Crystal. All right. And you know what?
Let me just say one last thing because I just again wanna. I think people should really take this into consideration when they're looking at this list. Rutgers Newark ranked number 600. Montclair State ranked 1,167. I went to both universities and I've done 2 years in both universities, and I do not know or understand how Rutgers Newark is number 600. And with that, I'm gonna leave it at that because
leave it at that, Crystal. This is much like a Google food review. They can say it's good, they can say it's bad, but ultimately it's your taste buds and you make that decision. Crystal,
absolutely. And with that being
there's some more vaccination stuff we need to talk about
yes,
before we get into
absolutely.
break and have an exclusive interview with the one and only Dr. Amy Tuininga later on in the show. Please tell us what's going on in Montclair
Yes.
schools.
Although it's not Montclair State University, it is Montclair news. So here we go. Unvaccinated Montclair students who travel must quarantine. Montclair Public Schools staff and students who are not vaccinated and who will travel during the upcoming holiday season will be required to undergo at least 7 days of quarantine, in line with guidance from the Centers for Disease Control. Unvaccinated students who travel domestically or internationally will, quote, automatically go into a virtual learning due to their need to quarantine. The Road Forward, which is the state's guidance for schools during the coronavirus pandemic, defines domestic travel as lasting 24 hours or longer to states or other than those connected to New Jersey, such as Pennsylvania, New York, and Delaware. The CDC recommends travel be delayed for those who are unvaccinated, but also recommends 10 days of quarantine after travel without testing or 7 days of quarantine with a negative test taken 3 to 5 days after travel. A school official said, quote, the holidays are right around the corner and we wanted you to have travel guidance with enough time to plan for the Thanksgiving and December holiday break. We understand this is often a time when families visit relatives and gather together. Fully vaccinated students and staff are not required to quarantine, but are recommended to test 3 to 5 days after travel and monitor their symptoms if they have any. I think this is good. How are we feeling? I think it's good. He is, based on what the school official said, that this is just kind of giving families some guidance. I think it's good because it's true. A lot of people always like to visit their family members during this time. Do any of you plan to take some small trips?
I hate to reveal my plans out here in public.
So don't.
I won't. I am going on vacation for the holidays in a nice little island called Puerto Rico during Thanksgiving time. I get to see my grandma and all that stuff. But yeah, I think it's probably a necessary precaution that they had to take. And I imagine a lot of people are still going to be traveling around these holiday seasons, whether it even is going to New York or Pennsylvania, something like that. But it's good that they're taking precautions, especially just putting them into a virtual learning thing, just to avoid that scenario, even like them returning and, coming in with COVID symptoms and all that. So naturally, I think it made sense.
How about you, Gina? Are you planning to travel for the holidays?
Yes, I am. I'm going to Florida for Thanksgiving.
Florida,
Nice.
nice.
Hey.
Gina's coming back with a tan?
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
gonna be a
sir.
bridesmaid in a wedding.
A bride?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. You will totally have to show us pictures when you return. That is
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
How about you, Aiden?
Oh, I'm just going to my grandmother's for Thanksgiving. That's about it.
Ooh. No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
I'm kidding. We love your grandma here.
cheesecakes. I'm bringing back a whole platter for the show. I got you.
Oh yeah, that's right. The
Nice.
cheesecake extraordinaire.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that. I'm excited. See, now I'm putting it on my list. Gina's pictures, bridesmaid pictures, and Aiden's cheesecake.
Mhm.
And Isaias. Nobody cares about Isaias. I'm going to some things
Actually, a lot of
before we
people
go.
care about me. The other day, this nice little young lady, she came up to me. She asked me for an autograph and a picture because
Oh
she's like,
boy.
"Wow, you sound very familiar to the guy on the Morning Buzz Wednesday edition." And I was like, "That is me." So I
Is this?
hooked it up for her,
Wow.
and I made her day. So
I think this scenario just happened in Isaiah's dreams. But turning back to the story of the Montclair giving public schools guidance on how to handle if they are planning to travel with unvaccinated kids and kind of quarantine. I wonder if Montclair State is going to put something out because I know, see, we're a group of 4 students right now, and half of us are traveling out of state. So I wonder if they are going to give some guidance. And I say this, and this really spiked my interest because I'm not sure if any of you saw this article a couple of weeks ago that the Montclarian published about how students who were testing positive for COVID-19 felt that they were not, their professors were not responsive to them. And by that, I meant that they were not giving them a Zoom link. You can definitely check out the article if you wish to on the Montclarian. But my point is that if, for example, Gina goes to Miami or to Florida and she may not test positive for COVID, but I wonder if you're going to have to quarantine. And if you do, I wonder if, I guess, you'll get a Zoom link or you'll just have to miss class. And I guess this is just questions I'm asking and throwing out there because if anybody's listening who can give me answers to these questions, it would be fantastic. But it is what it is. We have to wait and see.
it is what it is, guys. And that's what's going on in Montclair schools. But we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, an exclusive interview on the Morning Buzz with Dr. Amy Tuininga coming up here on the Morning Buzz. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys, to the Morning Buzz here, Wednesday edition. And guys, we have a wonderful, a special, an iconic interview coming up talking about perhaps a nor'easter going on, climate change, everything you need to go about in your life. Guys, we have a special guest here, Dr. Amy Tuininga. How are you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you?
Yes, we are great over here as well. And I heard you're dealing with some heavy winds in your area. How has that been for you?
That's right. Well, we're sort of at the end of the line for power, so it goes out quite frequently where I live, way out, in a very
Mhm.
rural area of New York. So pretty used to it, but unfortunate when you're on Zoom or live on the radio.
For sure. Internet's crazy and they always seem to be lagging during storms, and it is a brutal mess. But more importantly, New Jersey has just been hit by a pretty powerful nor'easter storm that caused flooding across the state and is expected to get worse for states up north. Could you explain to the viewers exactly what a nor'easter is and how that occurrence happens?
Well, I am not a climatologist. We do have big, powerful storms that occur from time to time, and I'm not going to be able to give you a lot of detail on the storms themselves, but I can tell you that in this past storm in New Jersey, we received a whole month's worth of rain in 48 hours. So that's a lot of rain for systems to process. Natural ecosystems, usually, the rain falls and percolates through the soils and makes its way out to the rivers. When we channelize things and we build a lot of concrete and built infrastructure like we have in Jersey City and Hoboken, that filtration, there's no place for the water to go. And so it overflows and floods the streets. And so we're seeing a lot of localized flooding. We're supposed to get more by this afternoon.
Oh, wow. This is crazy stuff. Flooding is a very scary thing to be a part of. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but it is quite an intense situation because it happens so fast, especially in areas like what you mentioned, Hoboken or bigger cities. A lot of times they're not prepared for that. Moving on, global warming has had a big impact on the weather here and around us in the world. How big of an occurrence does, global warming have on this kind of storm occurring in this time of the year?
Yeah, so we're going to be expecting more and more of these to happen all the time. We've seen, wildfires in California. We've seen increased incidents of hurricanes. So, in the 70s, we warned about this a little bit. We didn't, we expected this could be a possibility, but, in the 90s, we started to see the amount of greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere creeping up. And then, in the year 2000, we started to see more of that. Now we've far surpassed anything that we saw as a worst case scenario. So we're at like 416 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. In the 90s, we were at like 360. So we thought maybe 400 would be really high, worst case scenario. We're at 412, 415. So that's very bad. And, we need to cut emissions very, very quickly in order to be able to avoid an increase in these kinds of extreme weather events. So we're seeing more and more of them, and this is really just the start. And it's tied to things like the pandemic. So as the weather changes, you have more pests like mosquitoes in different areas. You have more disease. You have more microbes, more viruses and bacteria that can grow in different kinds of habitats and climates, and fewer kinds of things that control those pest organisms. So there's a lot of things that are linked to this change in climate. Global change. And we're just about to talk about this at COP26 in Glasgow. And, back in a few years ago in Paris, we set the targets for how much we should reduce emissions. We bowed out of the Paris Accord, the United States did, but many countries stayed in. We're making very little progress towards those targets. We really need to be reducing them much more. So we'll see what comes out of Glasgow in the next couple of weeks as far as new targets, but we're way beyond where we expected to be as far as emissions. And we're just starting to see the kind of consequences in the way of extreme weather events.
Absolutely. I feel that throughout my whole life, I've been alive for 23 years now. Throughout this time, global warming, climate change has been a factor pretty much since I opened my eyes for the first time. And you always hear about global warming and the effects that it has on the world. But I'm interested to know is exactly how can I help participate in preventing global warming?
Absolutely. So there's small things you can do, like take mass transit instead of a car. You can look to purchase an electric vehicle. You can look to cut your commute. Live close to where you work, or try to ride a bike. You can try to eliminate or cut down on your food waste. Because food waste emits methane. So landfills are emitting methane. Methane is many, many, many times more powerful as a greenhouse gas than is CO2. So landfills where we're just dumping a lot of food waste are emitting a lot of methane. You can cut your consumption of red meat, especially red meat, but meat in general. In order to grow and produce a cow or a steak or a hamburger, there's a lot of methane and other emissions that go into that. You can buy local. So you can buy the kinds of things that you need in the way of clothing or home goods locally. You can swap so that you're not transporting things all the way from Asia or Europe, because those container ships are emitting a lot every single time. And one thing that's just mind-boggling to me is, you get these little forks and spoons that are plastic, right? And you try to do the right thing and you buy the compostable ones. But those compostable ones are made from corn that's grown here, shipped to China, and then formed into a fork and then shipped back. So you have to ask yourself, how environmentally friendly is that fork? And then in order to compost it, it's really only compostable with an industrial digester that's got a lot of heat. So if you just put it in the compost pile in your backyard, it's not really going to compost like your lettuce or other kinds of produce. So be aware of what you're buying and try to buy local and swap. Try to limit your transportation. Do the common things, turn the lights off when you're not in the room, that sort of thing. But just be really aware of your consumerism and your transportation. Buildings also emit a lot. So, if you can be efficient with your energy use, that's a big deal too.
Yeah. And another factor of global climate change and global warming is deforestation. Is something that I've always heard about, and something that honestly frustrates me, considering all the wildlife and things that are destroyed for pretty much profit on wood and stuff like that. How much of a factor does deforestation, affect global warming?
That's a really good question. So in this country, in the early 1900s and even into the mid 20th century, the U.S. Forest Service was really about production and harvest. So they were all about harvesting. And in Canada too, you could see whole swaths of the West and the Northeast, and most of the state of New Jersey had been logged. And so it was really just like a sandbox in the Pine Barrens. But in the past few decades, there's been a lot of afforestation, meaning growth of those forests back. So it's not as bad here as it is in places like Brazil, where there's like 5% remaining. So really the tropics, that's where, carbon is captured really quickly because the growth is so fast in those trees, but it's not stored in soils there. It's stored in soils here and in the Arctic and in Siberia. So those are the places that we're concerned about, as the permafrost melts and the soils that was rich organic mossy soils in Siberia are thawing, they're emitting. So that's another, it's sort of a cycle that kind of self-perpetuates and makes things worse, right? And so those are the kinds of things we want to halt and stop. But, yes, absolutely planting trees helps, but you're not going to start to see carbon uptake a significant amount for like 20 years after you plant the tree. So it can't be the only thing that we're looking for. And you have to be really cautious when you're looking at these companies that are offsetting carbon by planting trees. Sometimes they're putting a lot of money into travel, which is emitting jet fuel, to go plant a few trees in the tropics. And so you have to look at the whole life cycle of the fork, of the tree, like the whole system, and where are the points of emission, and is it really net zero? Is it really a positive kind of interaction where you're taking up more carbon than you're emitting through the whole process?
Yeah.
So be curious, think, ask questions, figure out the whole system.
Absolutely. There's always, people love timelines, and I've read many articles in which they say this is the year in which we need to stop global emissions like that and prevent global warming from really taking full effect, if that makes sense. Do you think there is a timeline in which we really need to have a certain percentage of our energy become renewable or anything like that?
We're way beyond it. So there are lots of scenarios, right? There's lots of models. When you look at the weather models and you see the hurricanes are maybe going to go out into the Atlantic, or they might hit North Carolina, or they might hit Florida. For global warming, there's lots of models. And so if you think of a graph and you think of a lot of lines going up at different angles, right? And so if you do certain amount of things, you can really reduce it a lot. If you do some things, you can reduce it a little bit, and so it really depends on how aggressive you are at a comprehensive approach where the government's all in, we're all into renewable energy. We're really into electrifying transportation versus, part of the way. And so if we only go part of the way, it's going to take longer to get to our targets. So it's not a set date that it's doom or gloom if we don't meet that date. It's just going to be worst case scenario, or a worse scenario than what it could be if we addressed it quicker. So we're really beyond where we could not feel any effect. We're going to feel some effect. We are. We've felt it over the last couple of days and the last couple of years, really, throughout the country, throughout the world. But the more aggressive we are at addressing these things quickly, like now, the more we can lessen that impact over your lifetime.
Yeah, it's really scary. And what's even scarier is there's a large, population in the country and around the world that say global warming is a hoax, it's fake. What do you say to people that are so adamant in saying that that's not a real thing?
Yeah, I think that they're in the minority. I think that they don't trust scientists. So people train their whole lives to study these things. They know these things, right? You wouldn't go to a doctor you didn't trust. You wouldn't go hire a plumber you didn't trust. You'd still ask them questions. What are you doing? How much is it going to cost? So I think it's really having a conversation with your local scientist and learning. What are you doing? How do you know? What information are you gathering? And so really, I think those people are in the minority and they're uninformed, or, it's politicized and there's some sort of monetary kind of thing at play, right? But we're really, when we make those decisions to ignore what's going on around us, to ignore people who have, studied their whole career and put effort into doing research in a particular area, we're ignoring them. We're ignoring that body of information. We're really taking the short view. We're only in it for ourselves for today, right? And if we really want to build a bright future for all of you going into the future, many decades, we have to look to tomorrow and beyond. And to plan ahead, we need to listen to these people and trust the information that they're gathering through their life's work. And it's not just one person that's doing this. This is a global effort and has been for decades. So, one model might be a little bit off, but all of these models together are telling the same story. So maybe it's time to start looking at that story and see what we can do about it, because it's here. We're seeing it. We're seeing the effects of the hurricanes and the tornado. We had tornadoes in the Midwest this week. This is not the typical time of year where you would have tornadoes in the Midwest. And so, the wildfires, the hurricanes, the nor'easters, we're getting more and more of this, and we're going to have worse and worse effects going forward if we don't pay attention. So, are we in it for ourselves for today and tomorrow, or are we in it for the long run and the future and trying to make a bright future for everybody here?
Absolutely. And here's to brighter days for not only us, but future generations. Hopefully, we can get the world back together and cooperate and help stop global warming at a whole. Dr. Amy Tuininga, we cannot appreciate you enough for coming in on the show, talking about everything going on in the world and giving us some hard facts. And for those who are saying global warming isn't real, it's time to wake up and realize it's definitely real and it's happening, and we need to put a stop to it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Amy Tuininga, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, you too. We have some more business to take care of here on the show. We have the iconic, Trends host extraordinaire telling us what's going on online. And Gina, just take it away.
Okay. Lori Loughlin returns to acting. Lori Loughlin is returning to acting in her first gig since the 2019 college admissions scandal. She's reprising her role, When Calls the Heart character Abigail Satan. The actress served a 2-month prison sentence for her own involvement in the college admissions scandal. It was announced last month that Loughlin would be returning to the small screen for the first time in years. She will be seen in a 2-part season premiere airing on December 18th. Laughlin's daughter, Olivia Jade, expressed her happiness earlier this month about her mom's return to acting. I'm super excited for her daughter told Entertainment Tonight. That's all I have to say. The actor last portrayed Abigail in the 6th season of the Hallmark's When Calls the Heart before she was let go from the series amid her involvement in the college admissions scandal. The Hallmark Channel cut ties with the actor in March 2019. She was also let go from the final season of Netflix's Fuller House reboot, Fuller House.
Oh man, guys, isn't that juicy? I guess I'll say my quick opinions on this first. Lori Loughlin, I hate you. I think you are a terrible person. And the fact that you just thought you could sneakily put your daughter through a fancy college education is shady. And I knew I couldn't trust you because guess what? Full House is not a good show. And that's what I'll say here. Someone else take the reins before I get even more heated about this terrible 90s sitcom.
Yeah, no,
You don't
I
like
agree.
Full House?
Oh, no, not at all. I
You
hate
hate
Full
Full House?
House.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
Of all 90s sitcoms, Full House, Gina?
It's one of the best sitcoms.
Are you kidding me? I'm talking
heartbreaking,
Family
actually.
Matters. I'm talking, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is good.
I'd
but
even
Full
take
House
the
is
George
good.
Lopez show over it. There's so many other options I would get to before putting Full House. Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, but
know?
Full House is one of the classics.
I don't know. Did you like Fuller House?
Not as much as Full House.
Okay.
No.
All right, Aiden, you were saying something before. What
Oh
were you
yeah, I
saying?
was. That's a good point. Yeah,
What?
I hate any rich person who pays to advance themselves in the world when
Mhm.
Yeah.
no one else has that opportunity. And yeah, it's just sick. I don't think she should have any screen time now, especially after what happened.
And she
Like,
only had to serve 2. I didn't realize how short her prison sentence.
Yeah.
2 months is nothing.
It's nothing. And I'm
It's like-
sure it was like a fancy little hotel that she got to stay with some Wi-Fi. She got to keep her phone.
Yeah, it was probably like nothing for her. And now she just like
Mhm.
they're letting her back in after they let her go. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Like
they're-
they're going back on the words they were saying. Like, oh, we're done with her. We're cutting ties, and now
Yeah.
They're-
They're like, actually, we kind of like you.
Yeah.
We'll come back in.
mhm.
Crystal, you
So
Crystal, we cannot
much.
hear you right now. If you want to mute and unmute, maybe that will help. Go ahead. Oh, Crystal, you might have to back out of the Zoom and come back in. Guys, that's technical difficulties of Zoom. You know the trials and tribulations of this awful service. Crystal, we're going to give you one more chance. Say what's up. We give up on
Oh.
Crystal. Anyways. Gina, I'm honestly surprised you're a Full House person.
Yeah.
That comes to when did you start? Was that just something you guys always had on the TV? growing
Yeah,
up?
and I loved like the Michelle character. I think like she was such a great
Mm.
actress. Like she would talk like little so I'm using the example Good Luck Charlie. You know the little girl that plays Charlie?
Uh-huh.
She barely talked in the show. Like
Yeah.
she was not a great actress. Like she just didn't really say that much, but I feel like Michelle had a lot of dialogue. Like she made the show, and I just feel like the whole cast was really good.
I get
I
it.
think.
There's some characters in shows where you just don't connect with, and I
Yeah.
think maybe that was the problem. Maybe it's just it wasn't relatable for me.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, that's my only guess. Crystal is back, attempting to talk. Crystal, I don't know what's going on,
Aw.
man. We're gonna move on from this story. Maybe Crystal's Zoom issues can be solved for the next part of Gina's amazing segment. Gina, what's going on?
So I want to talk about the most popular Halloween costumes for 2021.
Ooh.
So Halloween 2021 is upon us, and the staff members at Waterford Party City are busier than usual. With Halloween less than a week away, there is still time to grab a costume at your local outlet. Which costumes and characters will you see out there the most this year? So I found on the Waterford Party City, they said the top 6 most popular like purchased Halloween costumes. So I'll go through the list. So number 1, we have Michael Myers. Number 2, we have Harley Quinn. Number 3, we have Ghostface. Number 4, we have Beetlejuice. And number 5, Chucky. And number 6, an orange jumpsuit. Would you wear any of these costumes?
You know what? I gotta be honest. I don't think I'd wear any 6 of those costumes.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear any 6.
These seem very generic.
Yeah,
you
very
know?
basic, very just like
nothing exciting, no originality. Like how many Harley Quinns are you gonna see this Halloween?
oh my gosh,
season?
I've seen that done
Exactly.
so many times.
And it's been for years, I feel, where it's like, all right, we get it. Harley Quinn's popular and all, but like switch it. There's other characters.
I
you
know. I don't know.
Gina, what are you being for Halloween?
So I have 3 different costumes.
3?
Yeah.
What?
Every day, like Friday, Saturday, or no, Saturday, no, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm doing.
All right, we need all 3.
Yeah, all 3. So I'm gonna do. Well, this is a basic one, but I'm doing it with the group Space Cowgirls. It's
okay.
basic. Everyone's doing that.
Wait, hold on. What is a space cowgirl?
It's a cowgirl, but
Uh-huh.
I guess like you put like space like into it, whether it be like glitter or something. Like I don't know.
I thought you were gonna put like a space helmet on or something. That'd be
No.
hilarious.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be me and my roommate are being fire and ice.
Okay. Are you fire or are you
I'm
ice?
fire.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like a basic like shirt with flames on it and then
Yeah, I
like red
figured.
shorts or something.
You're just gonna dress in red.
Yeah.
Got
And then
it.
I'm gonna be a fairy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, the last one a bit generic, Gina.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. The other 2 are interesting. I've never heard of a space cowgirl.
Really?
That's
I feel like
interesting.
every girl does that.
For real?
Yeah.
Space cowgirl?
Yeah.
I don't know, Gina.
What-
Gina,
what-
where are you from again?
Sparta, New Jersey.
Yeah. See, I've heard of Sparta before. That seems like a Sparta thing to do.
Yeah.
That just doesn't exist. Interesting. Space cowgirl.
What are you
Aiden,
gonna be?
What am I gonna be? I have not decided at all because I feel like I've probably said this on air, but I'm not much of a Halloween kind of person.
I know, me either. This is the first time I'm dressing up. Like
For
really
real?
dressing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you chose 3 for your first time to dress
Yeah,
up
3
too.
different
Not even just
costumes.
one. You're like,
No.
I'm gonna go all out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no clue what I'm gonna be. The Discord channel here at the station for the morning buzz. Apparently, I was pitched to be Nick Jonas at one point.
Nick Jonas?
Yeah, oddly specific as well. Then I was also, because I have a weird thing for Florida Man, to dress up as Florida Man. I don't know how to dress up as Florida Man other than just wearing a Florida State hoodie that I already own. So we'll see. Yeah. Aiden, you've been pretty quiet as of late. I need to hear your voice, sir. What are you dressing up as again? Oh, he's about to sneeze.
No, it was yawning, but
Typical Aiden. He actually got 2 hours of sleep before the show. But anyways, carry on.
I'm rocking with it. Yeah. I think I said it on the show a week or 2 ago, but I'm going as a guard from Squid Games with my girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's right. You
yeah.
chose the most generic costume in the game. Thank you, Aiden, for that. Tommy, we see you back on. You're getting ready for hour 2 of the sports cast, and I gotta know, are you a Halloween guy? You dressing up this year?
Well, I used to be into dressing up every year, but at this age, I'm kind of just casual. Like I just dress up as myself.
Oh, Tommy, you don't be the I dress up as myself guy. At least put on a hat. Say like you're hipster, Tommy, and put on like a fedora.
Fedora.
What are you, anti-fedora?
Is that like a blizzard?
No, it's a hat. Tommy, you gotta up your fashion knowledge, all right?
I guess I'll dress up as an elder. I don't know.
As an elder?
Eldery.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that.
Cristal, I'm gonna attempt to ask you
I
one
might
more
be a sports
question.
guy, whatever.
Cristal, I don't know what's going on. Maybe you should use your phone for Zoom. Connect to.
Honestly, I'm sick of
Oh, you're back.
honestly, you know what it is?
Hmm.
And this is my proposition. Someone get me new AirPods. I don't know what's wrong with my AirPods, but sometimes they just decide to stop working. And so I could be on a really important call and they would just stop working. So times are tough.
Is
But
that your first generation AirPod?
yes, is that a
Hmm.
problem?
No, I mean I have the same too, but apparently people are very adamant that like the next version of AirPods are significantly better.
Oh, is that why their Apple's stopping? They're making my AirPods not work anymore.
Exactly. It's
That's
all a
very typical
ploy.
Apple. Very typical.
Typical Apple.
Oh, do not even get me on the rant because we are talking about something that I love and I absolutely want to participate. But do I have a costume yet? No, I do not. I do not know what I'm gonna wear, but I will say, Aiden, do not let Isaias downplay your costume, okay? Because I
Cristal,
think
come
it's
on. It's
no,
so
no.
generic.
Isaias, I know you are not the one to talk about generic. You are not the one to talk about
What
Halloween
generic me?
or people's
Okay, let's be honest. There's no one like me. I am the furthest thing away from generic. I'm one of one.
crickets.
It's because it's
But
factual. You can't argue it.
anyway, Aiden, I think your costume is going to be super dope. I definitely want to see pictures. Gina, I think you are making up for time lost because she said not only am I gonna go with one, but I'm going with 3 costumes.
Yes.
And honestly, I kind of like that fire and ice idea that I might steal. I'm not sure, but if I do, I will let you know. And yeah, I'm super excited for Halloween. Am I doing something the day of Halloween? Not really, because it is on a Sunday, and as a very responsible college student,
You're going to church.
yes, that, and then we're working, and then I get to give out candy at my job for Halloween, so I'm stoked about that. To be honest, I love that, so I love doing that. So that's what I would do. What are your plans for Halloween, Gina? Since you have 3 costumes.
Wait, before Gina
Party,
answers,
party. What?
before you answer,
Oh.
this is WMSC Upper Montclair, the morning buzz. It is the top of the hour here, 8 a.m. for all you folks listening to the radio. And if you're listening to later on Spotify or YouTube, disregard everything I just said. Anyways, what are you doing for Halloween?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but
That's a lot different from what you said before, Gina.
no, I think I'm just gonna be going out with my friends. I'm in college, freshman.
You went
So
from party to, well, maybe I'll just hang out at home.
Oh, Gina,
Close.
she's not wasting any time. She was cooped up all 2020. She does not want to do that.
yeah, ready to go out.
That's funny. I feel like that's every college student. How about you, Aiden? Any big plans?
Oh, yeah, I'm going back to my hometown to go to a few parties with my girlfriend.
Hometown? Where's your hometown, Aiden?
I'm down on Lacey. It's a little small
God.
town by the shore.
What is that?
Yeah, no, Stockton is
Aiden, you're
30
just
minutes
making it
south
up,
of
man. You said Lacing?
Lacey.
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 Not real.
It's right in the middle of Seaside, LBI, and Stockton.
I will say Jersey Shore's beaches and no bueno. Other than that, guys, we're gonna go on to a quick break. Later on in the show, we're gonna have a newscast, sportscast, controversy in Japan's kingdom of royalty. And Gina, we're gonna give you some more time later in the show because I feel like there's more controversy on your trending segment here, revolving around Halloween candy, all that and more here on the Morning Buzz. We'll be right back. Guys, welcome back here to the Morning Buzz Wednesday edition. And this time, things get a little different here on hour 2. We take things a little less, serious. We calm down, relax, but we're still going to give you some news that you may have missed across the world, such as things as, I don't know, Florida man's always interesting, apparently. And something interesting that I read earlier that feels very much like a live rom-com going on in front of me, but in real life. But before we get into that, we have some more important things to take care of. Our man Aiden is our newscaster for today, trying to outbeat Sal for the best newscaster on Wednesday. Controversy amongst the newscasters here. Aiden, take it away.
Gladly. In international news this morning, Wednesday marks the start of the 100-day countdown to the Beijing Winter Olympics, but not everyone is in the mood to celebrate, as officials race instead to suppress a widening outbreak of COVID-19. By international standards, the current outbreak would be considered small, but in China, even one case represents a challenge to the country's zero-COVID approach. In America, the Charlottesville civil trial will explore where free speech becomes conspiracy to commit violence. The plaintiffs include several Charlottesville residents who say they were hurt in the events around the Unite the Right rally, and the defendants are many of the brand names of white power. The defendants say they were engaging in their First Amendment right to protest and that there was no conspiracy and that the violence was the result of police failing to keep them separate from the counter-protesters. In New Jersey, 2 officers from the Lower Township Police Department were accused of stealing bicycles in Cape May City. Video surveillance obtained by the Cape May Police Department showed 2 men removing bicycles from an area. The men were later identified as Campbell and Craig, who are both employed as patrolmen. In Montclair, it will be cloudy today with highs of 60 degrees, a humidity of 61%, and winds at 15 miles per hour. At 12:30 to 1:15 p.m. in the Student Rec Center, there was a midday group exercise de-stress event and an online information meeting for the FBI from 1 to 2.
Thank you so much, Aiden, for giving us everything we need to know around the world and on campus. I still can't believe there's a FBI thing going on here, Aiden. I would, act correctly. All right.
That's so crazy.
I know. But we have some sports to talk about. Tommy is our sports expert. And, October is interesting for sports because it's almost the sports equinox, as they like to call it, because every American sport is currently on. I'm talking MLS, NBA, NHL, NFL. I think I got them all. Tommy.
And the World
What's going on?
Series. That's what's going on right now.
Mhm.
So starting off with the sportscast with game 1 of the World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. Last night, the Braves defeated the Astros by a final score of 6-2, taking a 1-0 lead in the series. Game 2 of the World Series is tonight in Houston at 8:09 p.m. Eastern Time. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has reported that the NFL is still determining if Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson will be placed on the exempt list. In addition, Houston Texans chairman and CEO Cal McNair had apologized yesterday following a report that he made an anti-Asian comment at a team charity golf tournament in May. In the NBA, the Knicks defeated the 76ers last night by a score of 112-99 as they are currently 3-1 to start the season. The Nets are home tonight as they take on the Miami Heat from Barclays Center at 7:30 p.m. In the NHL, yesterday, Chicago Blackhawks president of hockey ops and general manager Stan Bowman resigned from his duties after an investigation commissioned by the team found that he was among a group of leaders who failed to respond promptly to allegations that an assistant coach sexually assaulted a player in 2010. The NHL has fined the Blackhawks $2 million following the investigation. In addition, Bowman stepped down as general manager of the 2022 U.S. Olympic men's ice hockey team. A replacement has yet to be determined for the U.S. hockey team. As for the Blackhawks, assistant GM Kyle Davidson will serve as interim general manager. For NHL games, the Devils last night lost to the Calgary Flames by a score of 5-3. The Flyers are on the road as they will face the Edmonton Oilers tonight at 10:00 p.m. Eastern Time. For Montclair sports, both men and women's soccer teams will face Rutgers Newark tonight. Women's soccer are on the road playing at 7:30 p.m. and men's soccer are home at Montclair Soccer Field as they will play at 7:00 p.m. tonight. And that's all I have today for Sportscast.
Tommy, you did it. Not one, but 2 sportscasts and a 2-hour morning buzz show. We appreciate you for the work you've done today, and we can't wait to hear all that sports talk next week from you again. But guys, I teased it earlier in the show. Due to Cristal not being here, I was like, you know what? Today's gonna be the day, even though it's a little rainy, where I re-debut my shoes that I wore over the weekend, and I feel like now is the time to share the shoes that I have. Can you guys guess what brand it is? No, not a single guess.
I'm
Chris-
guessing
Puma.
I could go for Crocs.
Puma.
I'm guessing Crocs.
Crocs. Tommy with Crocs. Guys, actually they're Fila. Look at
Okay.
them. They're nice color scheme. I like them.
Wow.
And I gotta say, I wasn't sold on the double tongue for those viewers that can see, but I kind of like the double tongue now on shoes. Anyways, that has been your shoe update with Isaiah. He now has 2 very nice, actually 3 nice pairs of shoes. Thank you very much. I sign off in the morning buzz, but we have a very interesting story that I thought was very much out of a movie, as Japan's Princess Mako has married her college sweetheart Kai Komuro, which resulted in losing her royal status. So the couple are expected to move to the United States, where Mr. Komuro works as a lawyer after marriage. Under Japanese law, women in the imperial family forfeit their status upon marriage to a quote-unquote commoner, yet men in the family do not. Princess Mako also skipped out the usual rites of a royal wedding and turned down a payment offered to royal women upon their departure from the family. She is the first woman of this royal family to decline not one, but both offers. Mr. Komuro was under intense scrutiny since his relationship with the princess was announced. Some tabloid newspapers and social media users felt like his hairstyle was, unconventional. And when I hear unconventional, I imagine crazy hair, like crazy hair dye, messy. Instead, it was just a man bun that they feel is very controversial. Tuesday was a busy day for the couple as they held a press conference in which Princess Mako had this to say: "I am very sorry for the inconvenience caused, and I am grateful for those who have continued to support me. For me, Kai is irreplaceable. Marriage was a necessary choice for us." Mr. Kimura also spoke at the press conference saying, "I love Mako. We only get one life, and I want to spend with the one we love. I feel very sad that Mako has been in a bad condition mentally and physically because of the false accusations." During their press conference, though, there's also protests going on against the couple's marriage. There's been excessive media coverage around the couple over the years, which has caused the princess to suffer from PTSD, as told by the Imperial Household Agency. The former princess got engaged to Mr. Komoro in 2017, and the two were set to wed the following year, but the marriage was delayed following claims Mr. Komoro's mothers had financial problems. She had reportedly taken a loan from her ex-fiancé and did not pay him back. The palace denied the delay was linked to this, though Crown Prince Futino said that it was important for the money issue to be dealt with before the couple got married. Guys, does this not sound like a very generic Hallmark movie at all? Like, this seems very I feel like we've heard this story before, no?
That is just every star-crossed lover movie ever.
Yeah,
Mhm.
every princess movie
Yeah.
is this.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say this. I personally think that it's super sweet. I love this. I read
Mhm.
this yesterday and I was like a sucker for it. And I do not care. I will say it loud and proud. I am super, super, super big into romance, and I absolutely love this story. And this story could be seen time after time after time. I do not care. I will watch it. I will cry. I will sob, and then go about my day. So I absolutely think it's cute. Although I will say that, like Gina said, it's like every princess movie for the most
Mhm.
part. But the whole idea of it sounded the very beginning where you said that it only counts for men, or it doesn't count, the same rule does not apply to men as it does
Oh
to
yeah.
women. I feel like that's very old thinking. It's very,
Wasn't the idea of like princesses and all that all kind of old thinking? I think for the most part, most countries have kind of moved past princesses and kings and queens and all that stuff.
I wouldn't know Isaias because I'm a princess, I'm a queen. So
Debatable, Crystal. I will
Isaias,
say,
don't make me don't be disrespectful, okay? Don't make me come for your shoes, okay? I don't
you
want
don't
you to
like the
see
shoes,
that.
huh? You hating on the shoes? Hey man, I like them. Shout out to Foot Locker in New York. Anyways, I will say this story, the thing that I was left with is one, shout out to the couple because true love is real, guys, contrary to popular belief. But I will say the princess is the literal definition of a ride or die. She was like, you know what? I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I don't need any of this stuff. I just want to be with you. We will leave Japan, go to the United States, and we're just gonna be married. Shout out to her, man. I respect that.
That's funny that you say that because I was thinking the same thing. I would have done this like if I was really in love with my college boyfriend or sweetheart, as they call him.
Could
I
have
would
been
have.
Crystal.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
rehash that out. We're
Yeah.
not. But could have, would have, but now we would never know. But anyway, if that were me, you best believe I'm taking that money. And I don't care. And this is not even about like nothing. What if something doesn't work out with her college sweetheart? People change, things happen.
Hey, love can
Money
be
is always
blind
good to have.
sometime, Crystal.
What
Love
you say?
can be blinding,
Yeah. No, ladies, if you ever fall in love, please have your
Secure the
priorities straight.
bag. Get the
Make
bag
a list.
first.
Make a list of things that you need to have post
Mhm.
relationship, and just make sure that whenever your something goes wrong, go sideways, you look at your list, or you feel very in love, look at your list. You
Look at
heard
the
it here,
list, guys.
folks, from Cristal Santos, her tips in love. Thank you very much.
We appreciate the tips and love, Cristal.
Says the one who fumbled the bag last week.
Oh yeah,
Don't,
for
don't
real.
listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Take it as you will, everyone. But we're gonna move on to a quick break. We're gonna play a song, come back, and we're gonna talk about all the fun things going on that you may have missed. We'll be right back here on the Morning Buzz. Morning Buzz. And guys, for those who are listening on Facebook Live, it was muted, but now we're live on both Facebook Live and on radio. So we are back here on the Morning Buzz. Tommy has left the chat. He is gone for the day. He will be missed on the show, but we have some more things to take care of. We have some more technology news for you guys. Once again, I don't think anyone here is an Android user, so I feel very comfortable in sharing the story of the new Apple update, guys. We talked about a previous update a couple of weeks ago, but now a brand new 15.1 iOS update is out. And it is bringing the features that were expected to be part of the 15.0 update, but now they are here for everyone, starting first with SharePlay, which is integrated into FaceTime and it allows people to share videos or music or TV. Anything can be shared now. Just like how you could share a screen on Zoom, you could do that now within FaceTime. And I'm sure it works a lot better because you know how Zoom is, where everything seems to lag when you need it to work at its best. But that is SharePlay, guys. I think I'm very excited for that feature. I feel like that would have been very helpful last year, but here we are a year later and they finally got it out. The next big factor of this update will be the ProRes video capture. So when the iPhone 13 Pro models launched, Apple promised a very high quality ProRes video option that will be coming in an update expected for the 15.0 one, as previously mentioned, but it has arrived now for 15.1. For those who don't know, ProRes is a professional video recording format used by TV show, commercial, and movie creators, and the format offers higher color, fidelity, and less compression. Fancy words being used. ProRes supports allows for iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max owners only to capture, edit, and share professional quality videos from their devices. So anyone with an iPhone 13 Pro, you get this fancy feature for your camera. Meanwhile, everyone else is stuck with a normal camera. Lastly, something that I thought was interesting is that vaccine cards will now be available in the Wallet app. iPhone users who have added their COVID-19 vaccination records to the Health app on the iPhone can now use these records to generate vaccination cards in the Wallet app. The Apple Wallet vaccination card can be shown to businesses, venues, restaurants, and more that require vaccines for entry. Guys, what are your thoughts on Apple's brand new update?
I like the vaccine cards in the Wallet app.
Yeah,
I think
isn't
that's
that
very
helpful?
useful. Like you have like now, like I know in New York you have to show like when you go to a restaurant, you have to show proof of vaccination. So I think that would be helpful instead of like searching through like your camera roll to find like a photo or actually trying to pull out the actual vaccination card. I think that's really that'll be helpful.
For real, because I was just in New York over the weekend, and you know I knew it was a thing where you have to show your vaccination card, but in my mind I was like, I doubt anyone's actually going to do it. But then
they do
they
it.
actually ask you, so yeah, I got to go digging through my wallet, and I still got to get like something to put it in, so like say like I spill something on it, like it doesn't ruin my vaccination card, laminated or something. So I was just a naked vaccination card out there, and I was scared that I might either rip it or drop it in a puddle or something. Luckily I did not, but this seems very helpful for not only businesses but just people in general.
Yeah,
make things faster. What are your guys' thoughts on the other features of this brand new update? Aiden?
See,
You have
the
an old
features all
phone.
sound great, but I cannot wait for me to download this update and my phone starts running even
Exactly.
Because I'm still rocking with the XR. This thing's on its last legs. It's not going to last much longer if they keep pumping these out.
For real though. Cristal is a fellow XR user, I believe, as I remember last week, right?
Excuse me, Isaias.
Did you upgrade?
Do not. No. I'm sorry. Do you think I have a pile of money just sitting over here next to me? No, I was going to say I still have my iPhone XR, but I will say that after all of our numerous conversations on how terrible this phone is, I think Apple is listening to us because they just decided to just really make my phone no, like I cannot use it. It's so frustrating. I cannot take a picture. You know when they tell you like you have to be ready for the moment, like you never know when something good's gonna happen, but you just always have to be ready with your phone to like kind of pull it out and take a picture, take a video. Yeah, I tried doing that. I can't because just to click for a picture, it takes like there's like a lag of 5 seconds. So by the time I can click it and it process it, the what I want to photograph is gone. Gone, left. It's
I have
already
a question
home at
for
this
you,
point.
Crystal.
Yes.
Are you taking live photos or are they regular photos?
No, regular photos.
Okay, because I'd say in my previous phone, when the live feature was on, it used to take forever. So I thought maybe that would be the problem, but it's not.
No, yeah. I don't get me wrong. I love a good live picture if there's a purpose for it.
I
But
hate
no,
live pictures.
really, I feel like if you can play
Yeah.
with
They're good
it.
in like certain senses if you're trying to cap
Mhm.
like you want like
But like if I'm taking
more.
like a picture of me, like I already hate pictures of me. Like I don't like looking at cameras and taking a photo. But when it's live picture too, I look ridiculous. So if we can
You always
stop
look
that,
ridiculous.
that's a lie, Crystal. I literally have a mirror in my room. I know how amazing I look every morning.
So you have one of those Walmart mirrors that make you
No,
look
actually, I
weird.
got this as a gift. It was like one of those like very tall mirrors where it's like sits on the floor because it has like a stand. So yeah,
Cool.
see the whole fit.
Nice.
Mm-hmm,
I want one of those. I want one with lights too.
Oh, are you
Yes.
guys one of the, are you okay? I have a question. So LED lights in the room, are you guys pro that or against that?
Pro.
Really? Okay,
I had
pro.
one actually. I had what like a little mirror, and then I would put the LED lights around the mirror, so you can like
Okay.
have some light.
Yes,
on
Gina
your mirror.
knows. Gina knows.
Yes.
Crystal, are you a lights person like that?
Okay. I used to be very adamant, like, ew, why would I want to put those in my room, like around my wall? But I'm going to say that this one time I went to an eyelash technician who did my lashes. By the way, I do not have any lashes, and it's very disappointing because I cannot fit an appointment with my busy schedule. But that's besides the point. I went to go get my lashes done in this girl's home who works from home, and she had LED lights like around the room. And I must say, I felt very zen. It was like the music, the vibe, the
What light was it
smell.
on? Like what color?
It was like a purplish, bluish.
Okay.
It was, I don't know, I felt very zen. So that's why now I say, like, I'm not very sure how I feel about LED lights. However, I wouldn't have them in my room. Not just on the wall. Maybe on my mirror, like Gina said.
Yeah, my mirror. I never had them around my room.
Okay.
Like I don't think I would do that.
That's such a college student thing to do though. Like a dorm one.
I
At your
know.
dorms. It's
For
a very
real.
dormy thing to do.
Because like I always, when I first got TikTok, I was like, why does everyone have LED lights in their room? I was like, when did that happen? Like, am I missing something? And then I never got like the LED lights, but I had like this tabletop desk lamp for my desk. And then that one you could change the colors of it. And I was like,
oh,
I could understand why someone would like it. For me, if you put red on for your LED lights, there's something wrong with you. That is disturbing. That one creeps me out. But I do like a lighter color, like a blue or purple, like one of those kind of colors.
yeah,
Because they're
purple,
relaxing.
pink. Yeah, nice.
Gina, have you ever put red on?
No, I've never.
Okay, cool.
Can I just say something?
What?
So Isaias, I'm gonna say this because I need to say it, but a lot of people do have LED lights, and it's just kind of got popular, like for like within the last 2 years. But specifically TikTok, if you play around with their filters and like their options that they have there to edit videos, most of the videos that you're talking about don't actually have LED lights in their room.
No, I know that filter too, but like in
Okay.
general, like say someone's like vlogging or something throughout their day, or like in their room, like you see the lights on and like in their room. I'm like, LED lights in their room? Like I was shocked the first time I saw. I was like, how did their parents let them do this? This is unacceptable. I felt very old in that moment, but then I was like, I guess it's just something everyone's doing, because then I started noticing a pattern. Before we go to break, Aiden, I'm gonna guess before you answer, I feel like you are an LED person. Are you an LED guy?
I have never owned any light except for one
Wow.
lamp and
Okay.
any available light.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know why I thought you would be a lights kind of guy, but you're not. And I'm sorry for assuming, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Guys, can we talk about LED lights while I prepare our break, please? Someone, please. Bye. Someone talk.
Oh, okay.
Someone needs to talk, please. That is-
LED lights.
I'm
So,
panicking right
they're
now.
pretty wicked, right? Hey, Cristal.
Yes, Aiden. I'm laughing at Isaias and how incompetent he is. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Jokes. No, I'm actually mad at Isaias today, and he knows what he did. But that's besides the
What
point.
did I do now?
Isaias, I don't want to talk about it on air because I'm gonna go full on rage mode, and we're not doing that because this is the morning buzz.
I got bills
And-
to pay, people, and much like that.
No,
we're
it's not
gonna
about
put-
that. It's not about that. It's not about that. So reel it in over
Ah,
there,
okay.
Mr. Thing.
Cool,
He knows
cool.
everything.
I don't know.
See, I get me started because I'm already getting riled up.
Hey,
But
positive
no,
vibes
you know,
only.
Guys, we're gonna go on a break before I get canceled
Yes.
here on the show on the Morning Buzz Wednesday edition. When we come back, we have all crazy stories and a top 10 Halloween candy list that may or may not surprise you. You heard the fancy announcement. That is WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz. Here we are on the Wednesday show. It is me, Isaiah, Cristal, Aiden, and of course Gina. And Gina, we heard some of your segment earlier, and I like to get to all your little bullet points that you bring on the show, just because it'd be unfortunate to have everything prepared and we don't get to it. So we have a top 10 list of candy. Is it 10? We have a list of candies that people be eating on the Halloween season. Tell us what it is.
Most popular Halloween candies. So at number 1, we have Reese's Cups. Number 2, Skittles. Number 3, M&M's. Number 4, Starburst. Number 5, Hot Tamales. Number 6, Sour Patch Kids. Number 7, Hershey Kisses. Number 8, Snickers. Number 9, Tootsie Pops. And number 10, Candy Corn.
Okay. So, Gina, we had this discussion before the show.
Yes.
And as you were doing the script, we see each other on the Google Doc, and I saw candy corn, and I was like, candy corn? People eat candy corn?
Yes.
Thought it was like this decorative thing. So when you came in, I asked, do you like candy corn? And what did you have to say, Gina?
I love candy corn. It's one of the best Halloween candies. I wish it was all year round they had candy corn. I love it. It's so good. It's the best. It's so sweet. It's just like everything about it. It's like addicting when I eat
Candy
it.
corn.
It's that
objectively
level?
top
Yes.
Aiden, you agree as well?
Top 3, easy. It's like Trix,
Top 3.
M&M's, candy corn.
Yes.
Tricks.
Twix.
Oh,
Twix.
Twix. Okay, I was like, Twix makes a candy? Anyways.
Yeah, I'm surprised Twix and Kit Kat are not on the that didn't make the list for the most popular.
Oh, you're right. How is Tootsie Pops on this list?
I know. I don't know.
No one actively buys Tootsie Pops.
I
That's
guess
just
maybe
something that
like-
happens. What'd you say, Aiden?
I said maybe because they're cheap, you know? I feel like this is the most
maybe.
popular bought ones.
Tootsie Pops are gross, man.
can I just say,
Here we
okay,
go.
first of all, have you ever had a candy corn
I have had a candy corn.
and you do not like it?
It was disgusting.
Okay. I was just
But
gonna say,
here's the thing. I
Mhm.
have never seen anyone actually eat candy corn on purpose. So I'm shocked that when Gina says, I love candy corn. Cristal, do you like candy corn?
no.
Okay.
And this is where I was going with this. This is my one Hispanic thing of the day, okay? I know it's not Hispanic Heritage Month, but it's my one Hispanic thing of the
We'll
day.
let it slide this time.
First of all, I don't need your permission. I think I think candy corn is a very non-Hispanic thing. If
Yeah.
you catch my drift. And
Just go ahead and say what you want to say, Cristal. It's okay.
I just feel like candy corn is a very white people type of candy.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
and I don't mean this, and then I mean this respectfully. Like, there's nothing against
I mean-
anybody. I'm like serious. Like, I think every single time I see people eat candy corns, they're typically white, and I've yet to meet someone who's like Hispanic or a person of color who like eats candy corn. So that's what I'm saying. That this is just based on observations, not factual. It's purely observations, purely opinions. But yeah, I don't know. Aiden, what do you think of what I just said?
Oh no, I'm totally on board. Yeah, no, I agree.
Aiden said I stand. And I just want to say the number 5 for your list of candies, Gina, hot tamales. That candy never sat well with me. And not only because I don't like it, but just because of the name. I don't know. I'm Mexican, so hot tamales doesn't sound very appetizing. Number 1. Number 2 kind of sounds a bit not on the positive spin of things. But
I
yeah.
agree.
You don't like
Yeah.
Reese's?
Oh no, Reese's. Oh, do not even get me started. You know what are the best Reese's cups to get? I'm putting everybody on. It's always good to get the ones from like the season. So usually they'll make like this really
true.
big
Yeah.
one. When it's like Easter, they'll make an egg. When it's like Halloween, they'll make a pumpkin and
The
so on and so
tree,
forth.
the
And
Christmas tree.
Yes, yes.
It's a
And
little differently, man.
but it's so good because
Mhm.
personally, when it comes to Reese's cups, I like the peanut butter more than the chocolate. Like there could be a little bit of chocolate, but there has to be more peanut butter than chocolate. So with these, for the seasonal ones, you definitely get more peanut butter than chocolate, and that's my favorite.
Okay,
So,
so Cristal, they for a while, I'm not sure if they still make it or not, but for a while they were making Reese's where it's you had the choice, where it's extra peanut butter or extra chocolate, and like that's what their marketing was. Did you ever buy the extra, like the XL extra peanut butter one?
I don't think so,
Interesting.
and I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's because there has to be a balance.
Yeah,
There-
like it was. I tried it and it was terrible.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like there has to be a
Mhm.
balance. It definitely has to be more peanut butter than chocolate, but it can be like excessively a lot. Like it has to be a balance, you know?
Yeah. I don't like sour candies though. So like Skittles, Starburst.
I love
I'm
Skittles.
assuming Hot
Really?
Tamale. Yeah, Sour Patch Kids. No,
Really?
I don't like any of those.
Really?
They like hurt.
This is just weird.
No, it's like eating Takis to me, where it's just like
But Skittles and Starburst are not like sour.
I don't know. Well, you're right. Those are more sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll let that one slide. Yeah, that makes sense. But still, I'm not much of a Skittles kind of person.
Out of the 3 competitors, though, are you guys more M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, or Skittles?
First off, we're not gonna say Reese's, you animal. All right. What is Reese's?
Reese's.
Come on, man. Reese's, man.
First
Who
of all,
says
don't come for my
Reese's?
boy Aiden, okay? If he wants to say Reese's,
Me and Aiden
Reese's.
got beef. I've roasted his pronunciation and his Halloween costume.
I
My
know,
feelings have been crushed today. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight, Isaiah.
At least you can go to sleep, Aiden. That's what I've been trying to do. I'm trying to get you to like sleep more than 2 hours. I will say I like Reese's. I think M&M's might be number 1 for me though. I like the brown bag or the yellow bag or quality M&Ms. Cristal, what do you think? You an M&M's person?
I am an M&M's person, but they specifically have to be the ones with peanuts in them. My mom is a super huge fan. There was this
Same.
time where she would eat one like every single day, and you would think it was me, but no, it was her. Like she's a sucker for sweets. So she absolutely loves M&Ms with peanuts in them. So I guess I go by that. I also like them. I like them more than the one that comes in the brown packaging. Not my favorite.
Yeah. Just the regular ones.
Yeah, I don't like the regular ones.
I like the regular ones.
Yeah.
Do
they're
you
good.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If you guys, when you were younger, did you ever get like the little tub where it's like mini M&Ms?
Yeah.
And it's like you lift the
The little
cap.
tub you lift it. Oh, that was so.
Those are
those
so
fun.
good.
And I used to take the cap off at the end after I ate them, and I would squeeze the bottles, and then the
See,
lid would go
Gina gets it,
flying.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, you guys really were kids.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's
get them. They
funny.
come like seasonal. They have like little tubes, the candy cane hook on them.
Oh, those were cool too.
You know which ones I like?
Yeah. Which ones?
Those things you dip. They
The
come like
fun
in a
dip?
little. I think so.
Is it like the sugar and like a little stick, and then like
Oh.
you?
Yeah, they come like in blue and red.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Those
I used
are.
to love that.
I
And
love
so we had an ice cream truck where we used to live. They used to come by in the summer, and then we would get like the little fun dip from the guy. Eventually my mom was like, y'all gotta stop eating fun. That is not it. So then I was like banned from ever having Fun Dip. So yeah, that's my random rant about Fun Dip. Maybe one day I'll have it again.
Wow.
R.I.P. Fun Dip and Marty the Ice Cream Man.
No, I love it to the day I die.
The day you die.
To the day I die. And no, I'm
Mm.
kidding. I feel like as you get older, you kind of lose your touch with candy. Like it's good.
Oh,
but
for
it's
sure.
not-
Yeah.
It's not like, oh
It's
my God,
very
you know what I
rare.
love?
Hmm.
Mexican candy.
Of
At me all you
course you do,
want.
Crystal.
At me all
What
you
a
want.
surprise. She
But Mexican
mentions
candy
that.
is the bomb. Because honestly, I don't know how some people live their lives. Like I understand all sweet, all good, but sometimes this is gonna sound very, very Mexican of me, but it's okay because I am Mexican. I just need some
Just need
spicy,
some spicy. Yeah, I
spiciness,
saw it coming.
something to
No,
add.
not everything needs to be spicy, Crystal.
Not everything, but just like a little
Mhm.
thing, like
Like
something.
lollipop should not be spicy, Crystal. That is not normal. That's painful. I was okay. So there's before we go on to our weird stories of the day, I used to work at a convenience store, and there's this lady Gabby I used to work with who was from Indonesia, I believe. And then so one day she brought in like a bunch of Indonesian snacks, and I was like, "You have to try this, Isaiah." Great lady. She now works at a sushi restaurant, and I'm very happy for her. Anyways, so she gives me this little candy. It's like like a sparkly ginger candy. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be sweet. So I take a bite of it. I'm like, oh, it's not bad. It's like sweet. It's got a nice little flavor to it. All of a sudden, my mouth is on fire. I'm like, what is going on right now? And then she knew the whole time. She's like, you had the same reaction as my son. And then I was like, why did you do this to me? So then I had to like buy an ice cream to like literally calm my mouth from destroying. It was that spicy. And I did it
That's funny.
again. This time it was my own doing. So I bought like this ghost pepper chip from like the One Chip Challenge brand, but like they made like a bag of chips. So I was like, and at this time I was like, I like Takis, I like spicy hot Cheetos, I can handle it. So I was like, let me try it. So I take one bite, I'm like, that's nothing. Then I put like two more chips and like I eat. I'm like, that was a bad decision. My stomach was hurting like the rest of the day. So Mexicans are a different breed when it comes to spice levels. I will say that pretty confidently. You guys just have very strong taste buds against spice, and don't have that look because you know it. You guys like hot sauce, you like all these hot things, and it's true.
I will say that there's people in my family members who like soup, like something that's super spicy to me will not be spicy to them. And honestly, I don't even know how they do that because sometimes they like to eat with like a really spicy hot sauce, and it's like you ruin food. You literally ruin food. You
Exactly.
cannot enjoy it. So I agree partially with your statement that there is some people who, and it's not only Mexicans, there's like people from like all over the world who like spicy stuff, like super spicy stuff. So I just need like a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit to take it to the next level, because sometimes my taste buds are like, what are you eating, Cristal? Like it's so So,
Okay, now one more question before we go to our next story. Have you ever had spicy M&Ms, Crystal?
no.
Interesting. See, I feel like
No.
I knew all about all these weird candies
That's
because
a
of where I
thing,
used to work.
spicy M&Ms.
They had spicy M&Ms, whereas like in the middle was like this weird spice ball, and it's like when you ate it, it'd be like normal M&M, but then it's like your mouth would be on fire.
I think I know which ones you're referring to, because I used to work at a Walgreens, and I do remember
A
seeing them.
convenience store.
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna say it once. This is them trying to appropriate other cultures that it's not theirs, and then it goes sideways, because I don't know what they thought they were doing here, but it was like a miss. It was a complete miss. It was not even like
It was not
maybe
good.
there.
I bought it though, so
I didn't try them, but
I did. I tried all the weird flavors.
Of course you do.
That's me. Crystal, take us with our next story about, I don't know, a
Yes.
New Jersey town, some coffee. What's going on?
Enough with this M&M talk, Halloween candy, spooky season vibes we're going with. So, since we just covered Per Gina's list of top candies, Rent.com recently published a list of the best coffee cities in the United States, and Jersey City, which is in Hudson County, came in at number 14. Seattle was named the best coffee city in America by the report, with San Francisco and Portland rounding out the top three. The craft list, Rent.com, looked at the 150 most populated cities in the United States, calculated the total number of coffee-related businesses establishments, and then ranked each city by the number of local non-chain businesses per square mile of land area and the percentage of coffee businesses in the city that are not chains. Jersey City's local coffee businesses per density is 2.13, and the percentage of local coffee businesses is 50.79%. The official top 10 cities were Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, California, Portland, Oregon, Oakland, California, Miami, Florida, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Tacoma, Washington, Denver, Colorado, St. Paul, Minnesota, and St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow.
Long list
of popular cities with coffee. The reason I chose this article is because I have to get something off my chest about the city known as New York City. I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions about it. But New York City might have the worst coffee in any city across the planet. The coffee in New York is so bad. It's not good at all. It's just overpriced and it doesn't even taste good. It's like a waste of time. I'd rather go to a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts in New York City because at least that actually tastes somewhat decent to me. I said it. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions about it.
Crickets. That's what you hear. Crickets.
Do you guys agree with me then? If it's so silent?
Are you coffee
I have
drinkers?
never once tried New York coffee.
Don't bother. It's a waste of time.
It probably depends what you get.
Okay, I've tried many. I've had an iced latte.
Okay.
I had an iced cappuccino, and I've had an iced coffee at multiple different places.
Which one was the best?
The best one I had was an iced cappuccino, but it had like a little bit of mocha flavoring into it, and that was very average.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I guess the best experience I had. That's the only thing New York doesn't have going for it for me, is that the food there is cool. I rock with it. A lot of great places to eat. Coffee game slacking. And I thought New York would have great coffee. And they don't.
Yeah.
Gina, have you had coffee in New York City?
I don't think so. Other than like a Starbucks, I don't think I've ever been like, let me get a coffee in New York. But
don't be fooled by these local businesses, Gina.
Yeah, they might make it look. I feel like everything, if you go into like an aesthetically pleasing shop, you'll be like, oh, that like it looks nice. You'll get it just won't taste like.
Exactly, that's the problem. They have like these fancy kind of.
Yeah, they'll like have cool names to it. You'll think it has all this stuff in it. You're like, oh, that looks good. You see, like maybe they have a picture of it, and then you get it, and it's just not.
It's just not it.
Yeah.
I will say I had this one croissant the other day there. It was like a chocolate croissant. Amazing. And then I bought a coffee at a different place and it was so bad, but the croissant was so good. And I was like, well, I guess it's making the coffee taste better.
Oh.
But yeah. Cristal, you're in New York City often, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about the coffee game there?
So I've gone to a couple of coffee shops, some of them who were super cute. I think that I can't remember how the coffee tasted, so I'm not gonna give an opinion on that because it happened like this was pre-pandemic. Now when I go to the city, I typically don't get coffee. I'm into like a green matcha latte type of thing.
Boba, milk teas, those are good.
No, I like something with caffeine in it. No, I mean that's caffeine. Good. Does it?
Tea?
I don't think so.
Green tea has a lot of matcha has more caffeine than coffee.
That's why I like matcha.
Exactly.
But I'm saying like there's some teas that do not have caffeine. Like I know black tea has caffeine, which is why I love black tea with a little bit of lemon. Highly recommend.
Yeah, black milk tea then, Cristal.
I can't have milk. Exams. I can only get almond or oat milk, and for that, I'm gonna just get it
Oh
with water.
God, you're an oat milk kind of person. Anyways, carry on, Crystal.
Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I can't really give an opinion on whether or not New York City has the worst or best coffee. I will say from what I've tasted, it's decent. The only place where I've really been like, oh my God, this coffee is good, and I would take a walk for it, which I did, was when I was a student at Rutgers, Newark. There's a small coffee shop called Black Swan in Newark, and it's like a small coffee shop and it's cute, but the coffee is really good. So that I would walk like 2-3 blocks just to get that coffee when there was like a convenience store right underneath my dorm, because that convenience store coffee is not always the greatest. So yeah, I mean, I can recommend that place. The Black Swan is called in Newark, but other than that, New York City coffee, I've yet to try it, but I'm going to, and then I'll let you know. I will say though,
Ugh.
New York City bagels or New York bagels, top tier.
I have never had a bagel from New York City. I actually just had my first ever slice of pizza from New York City over the
Really? What
weekend.
did you think?
Wow.
Here's the thing. The place I went to
Oh my
isn't what
God.
I thought would be a normal New York pizza. So it was like square slices, but it was like a super thin crust though. And I gotta say, bomb. Really good actually.
I don't think I think you had like what is it called that they call it? Either not a Sicilian, because those are thick, but either a Sicilian or like a Brooklyn something they call it. I don't know what you had.
I think it was like a thin Sicilian style because it was like that
Okay.
giant squares. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was enjoyable. I liked it.
I agree with Isaias. I personally cannot have dairy, but I'd still risked it all for this slice of pizza. I forgot where my friends and I were over the summer, and we, when you just take. Oh no, we went out. It was hilarious because one of my friends, she's not very acquainted with like Passaic and like Hispanic places where they play music and it gets super loud in there. So she was not very acquainted to that. And so we took her to what was one of the funniest thing ever. And then we ended up going after going out, we went into New York City and we had pizza and it was great. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Okay, before we go on to our next story, I will say there's one place in New York City where it might be the best food I've ever had in New York City. It's the what is it called? Barnju Nomad. That's what it's like this Korean gastro pub is what they're listed on Google. But they have this amazing like braised octopus, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it's so good. And then what I had was this rice dish where it was a bunch of seafood and vegetables and a sauce. And it's almost like a poke bowl, if we're being honest, but it was really good. And the food there is top tier. Anyways, we're gonna keep on a food train and talk about a Florida woman as she has punched a KFC drive-through employee and then is proceedingly charged with child abuse. So clearly, that is an interesting story. According to police, a Florida woman was arrested after hitting a 16-year-old KFC worker because of, quote, bad service. Alexandra Maldonado, age 23, was unhappy with the service at KFC drive-through window. So naturally, in Florida fashion, she walked up to the window and hit the 16-year-old victim, leaving a visible red mark on the child's neck. She then tried to drive from the scene only to be stopped by police as she exited the KFC location. Officer Robert Lord, which is a wild name, issued this statement. The defendant admitted to the crime post Miranda, and the ordeal was captured on surveillance video. She was charged with child abuse and 1 count of burglary. She was booked into Pinellas County Jail, where she posted a $15,000 bond for release. Guys, this kid does not get paid enough for this. Not a single chance.
I would quit. If that was me and someone hit me,
For real.
I would be
Literally.
done. I would never go back to that place. I would quit on the
Mhm.
spot, sue the lady, and then go about my day.
That might be a nice paycheck, Gina.
Yeah.
You might have to try and get punched at a KFC.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that.
I'm gonna say this, and you are going to. No, oh my
Oh,
God,
okay.
I would never say. Isaias, let's relax over there. No. So the way this article is phrased, it's like an adult and a teenager. That's what you get initially from the story. But when you go back and you look at the ages of these people involved in this, the person who was hit was 16 and the person who hit her was 23. So they're very relatively in the same age group. And although yes, the other person is an adult, I think this was just one of those things that's like catty, I like to fight all the time type of things. And because exactly, like if you are getting an attitude from someone, why would you get out of your car and hit someone? You know, like to me, that is very like it's not very like, it's so ugly.
Trashy.
Yeah. And it's so like ugly to me. Like, why would you first of all, I don't even think there's any reason for you to go catch a charge and then hit someone. Like what did you gain from that? From what? Like you hit her and then what? And then what? Like literally, like, and then what? Like you just hit her and now you're gonna be fined. You have a charge on you. Child abuse because the other person was 16 and you're 23. Like, I don't think people think when they do things sometimes. And I think that's so stupid. So personally, although I'm reading the story and yes, it was an adult and a teenager, I can almost play out how the scenario happened in my head. She was probably just like one of those people who get like worked up over nothing. And she probably didn't even know that the girl was 16. She probably thought she was like around her age. And that's why she went and attacked her. And then here we are that the girl was 16. Now it's a whole different ball game. And I feel like sometimes people do not take that into consideration when doing things. And I think it's a very stupid move to do.
Yeah, couldn't have really said it any much better than that, Cristal. My thing is, in what scenario would you ever get out of your car to punch someone at a drive-through? Like, what could have possibly happened where you felt like that was the necessary action to take? Even if it's low service, there's not much you can do. If they have attitude, you kind of just go about your day. In my years of living, you deal with, angry customer employees or customers, if the roles are reversed. As an employee, I never expect to get punched. And as a customer, I'm never like, man, I should probably beat this person up because my chicken is not hot enough. It's just real extra.
Yeah, it's like so
very Florida.
Uncalled for. Yeah, right. No shock that it happened in Florida, but I think it's so uncalled for. And again, I do not think people actually think through their decisions. Like, and this again, now this is gonna sound even more messed up than what I said before. But I just feel like sometimes these people who go around just provoking people or doing things to people, it's like, bro, you can tell you have nothing on the line, or you have nothing to risk, or you have nothing to be like, damn, like I have a whole career, I have a whole this, I have a whole that, to go out and do these things. Because if you did and you actually cared, you wouldn't go out and do stupid things like
100%. Mm-hmm. That lady doesn't have much going for her, and then so she decided to wreak havoc at a KFC. At least it wasn't Popeyes or a Church's Chicken. That would happen at a KFC.
Who goes to KFC nowadays?
Exactly.
Talk about that.
KFC, come on, man.
That would happen at a Popeyes or a Wendy's.
You got beef with Wendy's, Aiden?
Wait, what?
No, extreme beef with Wendy's.
Why? Aiden, hop off. Someone mute him.
Wendy's be hidden. Okay, what are you talking about?
The Wendy's at my town was not a good one. The managers didn't care, and all the workers were friends of mine from high school. They didn't treat the workers well, like at all. So it was a bunch of teenagers just doing whatever they wanted in the kitchen of a fast food place, and it didn't go well.
Were the burgers good though?
Yes, they were.
And what are we complaining about here? Here's what I don't like about Google reviews for restaurants, and I've noticed this pattern, and it's so annoying. I'll be like, so this place I went to was great food. The flavors were amazing. The portions were on point. But the person on the phone was actually a little rude and had a little bit of attitude in their voice. Therefore, I'm going to give it 2 stars out of 5. You went into a restaurant for food, not service. Service would be helpful. But still, if the food's good, that makes up for a lot of other things, in my opinion.
I disagree.
I don't know, man. Here's the thing. Anytime I've had amazing service, the food has been terrible. So when they're really nice to me, I have doubts about your food.
Yeah, but when they're really nice, you're like, oh,
Exactly. Then I
oh,
have
the
to tip
food.
them, even though like I tip them more because they're so good at their job. And I'm like, you're really good. But the
Yeah.
food was so bad.
Uh,
And then it's like, man, like I hope this tip goes strictly to you, man, because you're killing it. I respect you as the waiter.
just
The
not
cooks in the
food.
back, they're slacking.
I disagree.
What do you have, Crystal? And we have like 50 seconds before the show ends.
I disagree. I think that the service and the product that you're buying, regardless of what it is goes into consideration when you are doing a review. And if you have to state that in the review, like this is why I gave them a low rating, or this is why I gave them an okay rating, then that is what you do. Because not only are you enabling them to continue that behavior, but you're also enabling customers to go and spend their money at a place that they're not gonna like. So reviews are left there for a reason, and I think they should be completely honest. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That has been Crystal with yet another impactful TED Talk, guys. And that has been the show. That's been the Morning Buzz here, the Wednesday crew. I like to say the best crew, and there's no crew like us. And until next week, you can deal with the Thursday crew tomorrow, but it won't be us. Different crew, same time. See you next week, people.